How to Devour Life is based on Eve's manga, Karo no Kyoku. While the song refers heavily to the elements of the manga, the song itself has its own storyline. I'll be using both the manga and music video to try to interpret the song. There will be spoilers. At the start of the song, we see our character decapitate a dragon. In the manga, weird creatures appear all over the city, and they are called shadows, which comes from the person's heart. These shadows try to eat the person that I came from. Although having said that, a person also has a heart form, which accompanies them. The backpack of our character is his heart form, which tries to help him defeat the shadows. Our character is on a journey to find Hitotsume, and he feels as though he can't find him. Why is our character looking for Hitotsume? So far in the manga, it appears as though people who see their shadow and heart form are facing internal struggles. It could be that our character is having the same problems and is looking for Hitotsume to help him. Why would Hitotsume help him? If you saw dramatology, the lyric says, "You appear before those who have given up, always with that sneering face of yours. I wonder how I must look towards you," before cutting towards Hitotsume. Just like in Literary Nonsense, the main manga character Rei gets gutted and it seems as though Hitotsume is trying to help him. All I wanted was a hand to hold, because I don't know the warmth of it at all. This poverty has reached my heart, while wandering around the grey sea. This means he's emotionally starved and numb, to the point where he can't feel warmth at all, because he's been around the grey sea. The grey sea referring to a sea of sad memories. The orange sweet is actually his finger, although to our character it appears as though it is something to eat. This might be a hint that he is now becoming a shadow himself. Orange is often used to show happiness, and in this context the sweet appears to be the idea that death might release him from his pain. The inner struggle may have caused the shadow to come back alive. Tonight before tomorrow comes, sober up, time is running out. He needs to get out of this mess before he gets devoured. I want to be blinded from this dull day and go beyond it. This means that he doesn't want to work on his problems, and wants to be able to move past it by ignoring it. Your voice has yet to hit and make all these thoughts go away. This refers to him working on his inner struggles and to remove his shadows, until he gets overtaken by a shadow, and at this point he resembles a shadow. For both of us to forget that is unforgivable, as long as we don't ever stop thinking of it. He is asking himself and his heart form to never give up on defeating his shadows. The Mad Hatter started dancing at midnight, vanishes before you can say a thing. Even if I were to lower my expectations, you still won't appear. He feels as though he can't find Hitotsume. Instead of the shadows telling him, he himself now believes that he won't be able to find Hitotsume. Crying in the gaps between reality, my stomach is being torn apart with this thought. He is losing hope and his heart form seems to be trying to eat the shadow from within himself. In the manga you see the heart form stop the character from taking a cigar, which means that his heart form cares for him. The dots that he is now telling himself is getting to him. This also might be referring to the knives that we see in his heart form. Only the absurdity was left over. This could be referring to the abnormality in the manga, which could mean that the shadows have taken over. Everyone was gathering around the table just to thrust forward the knife. This might be referring to all of Eve's characters that are having struggles themselves. Our character becomes overwhelmed by his shadows and starts to destroy his heart. No one taught me how to use a fork. This means our character doesn't know how to manage his emotions. Find me before I devour myself. Find me before I eat my heart. If you focus on the artwork, it has added meanings to the song. Orange and black is a common theme in this song. As we know, orange represents happiness, while black represents depression. As you may have noticed already, when the bag disappears, the heart form appears. He often encourages the main character to tackle his shadows. However, the main character doesn't accept the companion. At the start, he kicks down the elevator door, annoyed at his heart form. In the solid orange background, we often see him without his companion, as though to say that he would be much happier without his heart form. The only time he accepts him is near the end, where he looks at his heart form just before he was about to be devoured. It was stated in the manga by the main character that heart forms are hard to accept. We often see our main character's intestines being pulled out. This refers to a Japanese tradition known as seppuku, which is an honorable suicide by disembowelment. We often see an image of the cliff. This could be referring to the main character's suicide, as though he would be happy if he died, as the bottom layer is orange. As we know, black refers to depression. In this scene we can see the lights being turned off, as the main character is hunched over. The monster has the same hair colour as the main character, and has the same smile as the shadows of the character. When the monster forces in and he sees himself, he starts to reflect on himself. We see the main character looking into a bag, possibly meeting his heart form for the first time. His face changes. Fire represents volatile emotions. The halo popping is a loss of innocence, and the monster face is the shadow that he needs to overcome. Before we see him hold hands with his heart form, we see lively dinner before it pops into sweets. His inner self is being clouded by shadows, as being served his own life to eat. The orange scribble over his eyes represents that he can't see true happiness. As he grabs his intestines in pain and eats away at himself, as though he can't go through much more of this. He runs away, and for the first time he runs towards his heart form, just before he is about to be devoured. Overall, the song represents internal struggles, and I think we can all relate to that in some form, especially with what's been going on for the last year. I'm sure we're all trying to manage our own shadows, although that can be easier said than done.